For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
So, I'd like to thank my grandpa,
Your grandpa.
believing in me. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna be holding this the whole time. I forgot my hat. Shut up. You guys are talking to that. That's your guys' audience. That microphone right there. Anyway,
Audience, how are you?
anyways, we're back with two Neanderthals.
Mongoloids, actually.
Mongoloid. I don't know what that means.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
We have a new guest, an off-brand
Jesus.
white version of Jesus,
The off-brand English version of Jesus.
American version.
Great value. American version.
So, off-brand Jay.
Jesus.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Hi. Yeah. Hi. So tell us about yourself, buddy.
Big boy.
Who are you? What are you? What do you classify
That's a lot of questions. You're gonna have to hit me with that all again very slowly. Anyway,
as? How are you? Why are you?
my name is Will. It's a pleasure to be here. Trey has been hounding me to finally do this, and then when he's not hounding me to do it, he's canceling whenever we do schedule it because he's him. We love him all the same, though.
He's accepted because the country makes me.
It makes me as wild.
Hooray. Hooray.
So, tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey. How did you come to love J Dog?
When I was first really introduced to it, I was going to a Catholic church
You.
when I was way younger and did not like it.
Did they baptize you as a baby? They like dip your head in
No,
alcohol.
No, I wasn't born into it. It wasn't like a routine thing. This was something I was going off to on my own.
You're willingly going to a Catholic
I
church?
didn't know it was Catholic church.
That's how you get you. That's
I
how you
just
get you.
knew it was a church, but
You just knew the priest was like really friendly with you. Anyone your
it was
age.
just it's one of those things where I was like, this place is strange. And then my spiritual journey probably started when Quinn got me to start going for. It was around when I was really starting to struggle. My parents had just separated, so there's a lot of pain at home, and I didn't really know how to cope with that. So I started using God, and church, and Jesus as ways to help me cope and just all around figure out my emotions and figure out where I was headspace wise.
Why didn't you do drugs instead? That's a serious question. I'm being
Jesus tells me not to.
Yeah.
So like
I tried that, didn't
wait,
I?
how old were you when this happened?
This would have been when I was like 16 is when they first started to separate.
Yes, why didn't you do drugs or alcohol?
There's a really good reason that it's also extremely sensitive. If I tell you, it's gonna make you feel really bad
Me?
for making that joke.
What joke?
What joke did he make?
Why didn't you just choose
That
drugs?
was a serious question.
question.
I chose
Oh, okay.
drugs. Yeah. So am I not okay because I chose the
Yes.
wrong one?
Yes, yes.
amongst other reasons.
No.
Dirty.
We do not have to discuss on the
Dirty.
podcast.
Dirty,
But
stinky.
I didn't choose drugs just because I've seen what it can do. Substance abuse is really bad. I've seen it in multiple instances where it can destroy your family, it can destroy your life, it can destroy your body, your mind. I had an older sister who overdosed on heroin.
Mhm.
Just the idea of now that I never actually get to reconnect with her and build a relationship with her is terrible to feel because I didn't know her that well. I don't know if I ever really met her.
Mhm.
But after on that, I think the most influential part of my spiritual journey has happened over the past year. With that relationship, it was the most serious relationship I was in ended, and I took some time away from church because I felt that I was following the idea of church
Churchianity.
and not actually believing. And I was right, because it put me in a really tough position to actually believe, like actually putting my faith into practice rather than just the routine and thinking and hypnotizing myself into thinking I was Christian. Or at the very least, a good Christian. So
What does that look like?
I think somebody who is to be considered like a good Christian is somebody who puts their full faith in God, loves Jesus. I don't think you have to go to church every single weekend. Honestly, you probably don't have to go to church at all. It just matters where your faith and where your heart lies and what you're feeling towards God is. Because if you chase after His love and you chase after His, just chase after Him in general, I think you could be considered a good Christian. But I know that there is some like stuff about like being good. It's like nobody's technically a good Christian because that would imply that you're perfect.
No one is good but God. Jesus
Exactly.
says that. So what you were saying, I tend to go more blunt when because it took me a second to realize what you were saying. I compare what you would say was like a good Christian to a Christian versus someone who believes in the Christian God. The one who believes in it, there's no fruits to back up their claims, versus someone who is a Christian not only just has fruits but is actually walking daily with that faith they have. So that makes more sense. I just needed to clear that up, and for if anyone else didn't understand, that makes sense. Dub, see, you got like deep, and there was Quinn when he was on. Quinn. Mormons. That's all we gotta say.
Yeah, that's all I got into.
No.
Your humble audience didn't get to experience that.
Greatness. That was
Greatness of
the LeBron James of Mormon
discussion.
dissing. Okay, that's what's up. I don't have a set topic in mind, because I know I was purposely withheld having a specific topic so this can just flow naturally. So if this is only 30 seconds long, that'd be good with me. But okay, that's what's up. And then so with these, how do I word this correctly? With realizing the difference, what did it feel like? And not only what did it feel like, but what caused you, because you were experiencing what sounds like churchianity instead of Christianity. What I know, I'm very.
I like that. I like that churchianity.
How did you you said that like you felt like when you were finally put to the test to walk in faith, that's how you kind of recognized it. But if you could go explain that a little deeper, and then also what made you think to seek a relationship more, like what made your mind understand that there was more than what you were already experiencing.
I think it was probably the first experience, like after that, losing that relationship. Just before that, my dad had passed away, and I had just lost two of the most important people in my life. And it was one of those things where it's like I was seeking for something to kind of fill that, because I didn't really know where to go. So I turned all my anger, all my sadness, and all my depression to God. And when I really started to put it into practice of being on my own with it and not just being kind of told how to believe and actually starting to believe, I noticed better positive outlook on everything, peace of mind. I started to feel God's wisdom a lot more, and it got to a point where it's so hard to describe it because I don't feel like there's any real ways to describe how amazing it is to get to a point where you feel actually connected.
Oh, the goodness of God. It's so good. It's
one of those things where it's hard to describe,
unexplainable,
because it's hard to explain to anybody who hasn't felt it before. But it's just like a wave of peace and love. Just you can feel the warmth of His love.
That is very true. I think a lot of people who aren't Christians that don't understand, and then similarly people who weren't Christians. I even was watching a few videos, and this guy was talking about. He's like, I just never understood why I was. These Christians were constantly forcing their beliefs and like so adamant about having me believe until he experienced this, the goodness of God, and he's like, I now understand why they're so adamant about sharing about Jesus, because it's like if you don't have that, man, oh man, you're missing out. And it sounds like, because I'm actually really thankful that I'm starting to read this. I don't know why I chose this book. God's sovereignty is the only thing I can put towards it. Because it sounds like a lot like Ecclesiastes. And I'm only a few chapters in, but just because Solomon was granted wisdom, but after he had a firm, I'd say a firm relationship with Christ, or well, with God, and he got this what he wanted, and he then soon began to realize that all the worldly stuff, whether it was worldly pleasures, material things, I'm about to burp. Sorry, I don't want to. Yummy. Taco Bell burp. I had Taco Bell today as well.
No, again.
Very high quality protein. He was
Cow
just
that's
meat
about
soup.
dead.
it's delicious, very delicious.
Yeah, they don't kill cows from Taco Bell. They just wait for them to
They
die.
liquefy 'em.
Yeah, we just
liquefy
find
'em.
them,
Find them, throw them into a
find them in
blender.
the field. Yeah,
Hey, that means
horses, whatever fits.
higher
in.
grade quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, he realized how meaningless everything else was besides God, and how they were all like they would all return to nothing, and it'd be this no different than chasing the wind, is the phrase he keeps ending off all these things with. So that's cool that you realized that you were chasing wind, and then you found J Dog. J Dog. So why did you find J Dog? Why not try any other faiths, any other religions, even Mormonism?
um, just because I've always grown up believing in God and believing in Jesus. It was just one of those things where it's like my family always believed in it. It was just one of those things where we were never like super serious about it. But it was just reading about Jesus's miracles, his love and his compassion to people, and the strength he had against sin. Those things where it's like, why wouldn't you want to follow in that? Why wouldn't you want to become a better person and walk in the footsteps of Jesus?
That's valid. So this is for both of you. The other faiths, for the most part, they all make, or their goal is to have you strive for better. We're not even gonna go there. We're not going there.
As soon as you said other faith, I was like,
Some of them, some will go unmentioned. So those M's.
You're ruining this whole thing.
I'm sorry, it was just too funny, dude. It's just too funny.
Those beautiful people, those
Yeah.
lost beautiful people,
Orphans.
yeah, orphans.
Those beautiful orphans.
Children of Satan. That's all we're gonna go
Children of Satan.
with. What like have you guys, now that you're in your faith, or like when you're going about deepening it, ever pursue, like, see why people that are Muslim are like willing to die for it, or why Hindus are like, nah, you're wrong? Have you guys checked out why any of these other people or other religions are so like similar, like they're gonna stand on it type of deal?
I have, but before I look towards like way they conduct themselves to the faith, I look at the God they serve from the different from the different religions they are, and it seems like Allah is like not that merciful of a guy. And Buddha and the rest of them just kind of leave a bad taste in my mouth, and like in one way or another, where it just doesn't seem like God could be like. It just seems like the God that I serve has the most mercy and grace, and he actually like cares and loves about his people. When I look at like Buddha or whatever, it just seems like they want there or whatever it is, the sinful god, not demigod, but devil thing.
Demigod. Poseidon.
I can actually tell you where that started to come from. It's really cool.
What?
Poseidon and all the stuff about it. I started learning about that from Jimmy. But I'll finish my piece. I'll finish my piece and we'll talk, and then I'll leave it. But just the way that those gods have no other compassion for their people. It's more focused on like what can the people do for the god. That's really what it's
about.
And then it's never like you're never gonna get saved full-heartedly. It's always like
it's a gamble.
You could possibly.
You got a 50-50 chance.
If you sin, you're gonna die.
You gotta beat me in blackjack.
Yeah.
You're gonna
you gotta win. You gotta start with $10,000 and work your way up with $500K in baccarat, and then you can get in heaven.
If you fail once, you're dead.
Yeah,
straight to hell.
Straight to hell.
Yeah, straight to hell.
The third one. Dude, we could totally.
That's
dude, or those religions where it was like this one guy just saying a bunch of stuff, and then like if people said anything against him, it was just like wrong.
Those are the craziest.
Those are the craziest gods.
Yeah, I do know like something that I just recently learned with the Muslim faith. Well, so like Buddhists, they don't have a god; they just have enlightenment. The Hindus, they got 31 million.
They got their little statue and whatever.
Yeah. And then I know that what's just crazy. So like Muslims will be like, well, why did Jesus have to die for your guys' sins? Why did someone else have to pay for your stuff? That's like really messed up. But then in the Quran, Allah says he's gonna every Muslims for their sins, instead of them having to pay for it, he's just gonna kill or send to hell a Jew or a Christian. So you guys are going to hell.
Yeah,
straight to hell.
For the Muslims, they kill people a lot.
And those
all of them, but kill sometimes.
Let's go. We can do whatever we want. The Christians are gonna take this out.
I was also gonna say something like the gods that the Hindu serve, and like if they're Greek or whatever, it's for the Greek gods. It's always like of something worldly and of something sinful. Like the god is of something sinful that they're praying towards. Like it's like
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time, except for like Indians, where they like the wind and the earth and whatever. Like that's cool, but
legit.
Like I don't think the earth has like a mind of its own.
New Age spirituality. I don't know.
I guess
pray to Mother Nature.
The more I eat dirt, the more
they'll rekindle with my spirit. Mother Nature told me to rip you in half and use you as fertilizer. I can't ignore her. You can't question it. Trust me. It's a trust me kind of.
Trees told me about it. If you say anything against the trees, they like come to you.
My ear to the ground. It spoke to me.
But it said no one else can hear it. Just me.
You can't hear it. Don't try it.
Don't try it. I have no like actual proof this happened, but I did.
But trust.
I did it. You have to believe it because I did it. I'm right.
Vote for me for president, by the way. Off topic. Poseidon. Okay, where are you going with these demigod things?
Wait, I want Will to. If you
really skipped over.
If you had an answer,
it's Will.
Yeah,
I know why. We don't need to discuss it in front of the audience.
He's the great value, Jesus. That's why.
Hair's a little too curly. He's trying to.
John Smith got her.
He's intimidated.
What was the question? Like, how do we interact with other people who are really serious about their religions that are different from ours?
No. Why did you choose Christianity, seeing that other people are so adamant about theirs being true? Like, have you researched into why to come in to be more concrete in your decision? If not, it's okay. Most people don't.
Everything in the Bible is so true. I mean,
prove it. Put in a lab and prove it right now, or you're
I don't come from nothing. How did God make the earth?
Anyway, I was saying,
you gotta prove it right now.
Gotta prove it. Show me Jesus' birth certificate.
Yeah. Take a picture with him right now. Show me a picture.
Yeah. Show me his
Dude,
pocket watch.
if I could take a picture with him, get a selfie with Jesus. You know how tough that'd be.
People get confused about which one is which.
Which one's which?
One's brown.
One's super white.
One's
The other
pale,
one's
one's
brown.
not.
I'm trusting the white one. The white one seems more my
That's
favorite.
racially motivated.
Wow.
Okay, continue.
But I just like anything. I guess if you look at anything historical, you can tie it back to the Bible, and just the Bible itself is. It reads about how to be a quote unquote perfect human being.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. It's like even though we can't be perfect, why not strive to be as good as we can?
That's
So that and it correlates like other religions. It's like all of their gods are like, yeah, you can go to paradise on this condition.
Maybe.
On a condition, maybe if you kill a bunch of people and die honorably in battle, or if
That would be tough.
if you sacrifice a bunch of animals and I like it,
If you skin
maybe
this rabbit with one pole, you're going
I want you to give all of your money, or I'm gonna drown every single person in your village.
to give all your money to Bill Gates, and then you kill yourself.
But
Then you'll go to heaven.
the idea that
Third heaven.
our God is so merciful, no matter what, is part of the reason why I chose Christianity. Because it's just I would rather worship a God who will love me than one who will just be like, "You're right."
Yeah, you're right.
Let me get a few bucks. Let me a few dollars.
Especially a God that loves you so much that he sent his very son, a portrait of himself, to die for your sins, so that you can be with him in eternity. It's like it just seems we don't deserve it. That's why it seems so good.
It's fair. Oh, I was about to say something, and then you started talking. It's like cappuccino. Anyways, this isn't what I was gonna
This
say.
guy.
I know how I'm gonna die honorably and battle.
Like I'm gonna rip that throat out of your esophagus, and then do the needle insertion, of course.
Yeah. That's right.
I was on the way here. It was a verse, so we all know the verse. Jesus wept, and do you in that context? So it's like the Mary comes up to him. My brother's dead. Boo hoo, womp womp. Just kidding. That's a joke. But he's like, and she's like, you could have been here. So I've had two sides of the coin on why he wept. One was because he felt the pain. He was mourning with her. The other one, which I think is a less popular version, was he was weeping because he was like generally just sad to see how little faith she had.
I don't know about that second one.
That second one is
But
heat. I think you just don't have you don't go to third
it's
heaven.
heat in his own capacity. But that first one where like he wept because he saw such intense sadness within Mary, and he wanted to not exactly show, because he did care for Lazarus very, very much.
Yeah, that was a homie.
Yeah, they were like that. Just I think he felt the sadness in the thing, and then he did not, because he knew he was gonna raise him from the dead. So he just thank you.
I'm sorry.
Are you quite finished?
No,
You're a great.
I almost threw up.
Okay.
You're a great host. Anybody ever tell you that? I
You're
bet they
supposed,
didn't.
to, you're supposed to breathe it in. That's a part of the ritual. It gets the podcast
Third
really
heaven.
going.
This is how you get into third heaven.
Suck up my burps. All right, continue, sir. So
Yeah,
for
I
someone
think
rudely
he
interrupted.
he just felt the intense sadness in the whole moment, everything that surrounded it, because he cares about what we care about, and he cares about us and the things that is going on in our lives. So that's why.
Isn't it said that Jesus wants to take our pain and our sadness from us, and like we can lay it on Jesus, and He will make everything good.
And imagine how Mary would have felt if Jesus didn't cry over his dear friend.
Much worse.
Yeah. Like, what? You have some, you have a
I'm
rebuttal?
just listening. I'm listening.
But I,
I
like,
can't get out of their head.
if someone, like, really close to me died and then it was just like, it's cool. It's whatever. Because Mary didn't know that Jesus was going to raise him from the dead.
So sorry. Didn't you pull the tab off that can and put it in there already? I saw you put it there.
So you're like, yeah, you're a great hostess. We're a great
Every
guest.
drink is just going to be one of those incidents. Just gonna
Suck it on the metal. Anyways, before this guy rudely interrupted you.
want to say what you want. Say what you chest.
For great value.
Okay, so let's go what you were saying. That probably sounded amazing. I'm someone who is learning to be able to handle and recognize and reciprocate. There we go. That's a lot of big words.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my applause?
Reciprocate or reciprocate?
I said that.
You said reciprocate.
Reciprocate.
Reciprocate is what I said.
Reciprocate,
Obviously.
yeah.
Freaking white.
The row is
You
good.
don't get to clap
I
anymore.
know. I'm sorry.
He gave you one.
Yeah. Oh, I'll take it.
You thought of the word.
Anyways, so I'm someone like if someone dies near, if someone were to die, like if you were to die, W in the chat, and you were sad, I'd come up to you and, or like if it was your parents, you were like, I'd be like, oh, dude, it's chill. He's in heaven. It's
Yeah, I
chill.
would want to uppercut you. I'm not even gonna lie.
And so that's my mind because I think logically, not emotionally. And it's like, well, logically, there's no reason to be sad. He's chilling. But I understand why people would be sad. Freaking selfish. Leaving before I could get out there. But so similar, it's what you're saying is he's Jesus in the same place where he logically knows there's no point to be upset, but emotionally, he's like,
yeah, because he's not only
I wouldn't
strictly
be
logical.
sad. I'd be happy.
I mean, like,
I'd shape you.
I could understand if he's not crying, say like, hey, bro, I got this. You can raise him from the dead, like that'd be fire. Like, calm your tears.
No,
sister.
Rob.
I got this.
Let me cook. Hold on.
Let me cook.
Let me cook. Hold on.
Let me
He said
cook up
it's gonna be
some.
all right. It's gonna
Absolutely.
be all right.
Well, doesn't so in that story
It's
though?
gonna be Irie.
Doesn't he?
Watch out, Mary is gonna be Irie.
There's something wrong with you. Doesn't
I
he?
think you're delightful.
Thank you.
Everything. There's something wrong with all of us. So don't take it to offense. You should take it to
I think
offense.
there's
Wow.
What book is this in? Because I don't think it's in Matthew.
I think it's after that. I think it's later in Luke.
I'm sorry, sir. Anyway,
I think it's in John.
anyways, the point I'm trying to find is because I'm pretty sure in that point,
John
like,
11:35.
he's like, prior to him starting to weep, he's telling her, he's like, hey, he's gonna rise from the dead. Like he's telling her, dude, it's chill. And then she's still like, and then he starts weeping. That's why I can understand where the other side is like he's upset, he's sad because even after all he's done in front of her, she still doesn't believe. That makes sense. Similar to like,
Maybe because her like brother died or something.
yeah, but like,
I think even though if I knew Jesus was going to raise him from the dead, I still wouldn't stop crying because my brother died. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I don't know. Let's kill him.
Yeah,
let's
let's
see
kill
how
him
you
and
feel
see.
about it.
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, but in it, he's constantly telling her, he's like, wait, what the heck? It doesn't even say. Where does it say he wept?
11:35.
Oh yeah, then that's way after. He literally, yeah, he weeps after constantly reminding her, and then she's like, "Come and see, Lord," or they're like, "Come over and look, he's dead," and then he weeps. That's why, like, do you see
at this point has
the
he
vision?
written anybody from the dead?
Mm-mm.
Well, I can kind of see it. I can be like, I haven't seen it happen.
Yeah.
He can say he's gonna resurrect. they're gonna rise from the dead, but maybe they don't
So he
fully
didn't do any
understand that
miracles.
he means that.
No, he did do miracles prior.
He did miracles, but not
Did raise the dead.
because he's the only one that he raises.
Right, and that's a lot more logical than just.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
because like the thing is, she understands that they will all be resurrected.
Speaks to his humanity, his ability to sympathize with our pain and suffering.
Which, yes, I understand, but it's like similar to the Job situation where God's like, hey, he's like upset. He's like, Job, why are you? I'm telling you these things. Why are you still twipping? It's just your family.
No, because Job questioned God, and God was like, what do you question me for? I'm God.
Yeah, that's similar. That's similar.
I don't think so.
Because she questioned why he wasn't there, or why she didn't come in, why he didn't go and heal him beforehand.
Maybe because it was for that moment,
Well, yeah, I know why he did it. He did it to show the miracle. But I'm saying, you guys are just not seeing the other side of the picture. It's okay.
I don't think he was crying because he was disappointed.
Not disappointed, upset.
Upset can be the same thing as disappointed when you're crying because someone didn't do something.
No. Listen, I'm right.
All right.
And I say both are right.
All right, and if we don't follow you, we just can't say
You
anything.
think it's third heaven?
Yeah, you guys are going to level 1, level 0.5. Okay, I guess I'll take that as an answer. Okay, so theology question. Hit you both with it. Since you guys sucked at that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't share your opinion, so we sucked at it.
Yeah. Come on now. So.
Good host.
That was some great ASMR.
I know. I'll make sure I get closer to the mic. The flood. We're gonna go deep. Controversial.
This is what I wanted to talk about.
The flood?
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew. We talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah, the wall talked to you about that one.
Trust me. You just cannot ask.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't pull a God told me. Don't worry. I can
An angel came down from heaven.
This angel, he was red. He had horns, a pitchfork. He said, "Trust." Me and the big G are tight.
The big G with horns.
But okay, so many atheists and some Christians don't know how. Well, some Christians just don't know how to answer it, so they don't really think of it. What is your guys' opinion on that whole kablamo? Do you guys have any understanding of what the point of it was? Do you guys just think it was a nice giant bubble bath?
I know exactly what he's about to say, and that is
Take the answer. Do it.
It's because
I guarantee you do not know.
Do it.
Well, I think we've talked about it before.
Read the notes
Have we
off his
talked about
phone.
We have talked about it before.
No. I've learned this new.
No,
Oh, okay.
this is what the
Okay.
I learn things good.
Okay.
trust him. Just can't ask for
Just don't ask. Don't ask for
Little red devil doing a handstand right now. And the angel saying, no. He's on something.
That's crazy. All right. So while he's looking for his answer.
I already have my answer. I'm just looking for the verse.
Okay, so while he's looking for the verse, what is your answer? White boy.
Ow.
That is a little on the nose.
My Caucasian brother.
Thank you.
My hands are sweaty.
Mine are sweaty too.
That was nice.
So
They just got on camera.
they answered
sniffing.
my thought of
Smelled your hand afterwards.
the thought of why
Smelled it.
God did the flood.
Yeah.
Well,
What is your
from my
opinion?
understanding, it is because all of the humanity had turned their backs to him, and they no longer loved him. So he was like, "No, that ain't it."
Run it back.
Y'all are running.
I'm hitting the reset button real quick,
Mm.
and so he chose
Noah. Noah's family. Is that what you were gonna say?
I never
What?
sent the text.
Was that who you were thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot his name."
What's his name? Abraham
Oh, the guy in
Lincoln.
the ark. What was his name?
George Washington.
George Washington. But
He's
it's also,
excited.
Like, I'm sorry. I had a question to tell my uncle, to ask my uncle, because he's like really into this part of the Bible specifically, and I had the entire text typed out, never sent it.
And it's like after the flood, and after that was all over, God had said, it's like, I will never do this again. I think it's just because it was saving us from, like, humanity from getting any worse, because it could have got to the point where we were completely irredeemable. So he was like, you guys need to just cut it. You guys need to stop.
Gotta cut that out.
Because,
Well,
like, I like to tie it back to, like, Adam and Eve when God banished them from the garden. So they had eaten the fruit of the tree of knowledge, so they knew what good and evil was. He did not want them to eat from the tree of life, so they could live forever with the knowledge of good and evil, because God knows the good and evil and sin, and he'll live forever with that, and he does not want us to experience that pain. That's why he banished them from the garden to protect them. And a lot of people, I feel like, who aren't well versed in it, misunderstand that as, oh, if he's so merciful, why did he do that? It was an act of mercy.
We even see he makes the first sacrifice because he kills an animal to skin or clothe them with their skin. So that's why I think they'll have to have a nice conversation with them if I get a chance to, if I make it to third heaven. But on,
Gotta get a wife first.
yeah, oh shoot, yeah. So I never hear in Mormon theology that you can't marry
Whoa. We were talking about Mormon theology.
Other faith theology, third heaven theology, that if it's a long-haired boy, that feels pretty.
Well,
Lady boy.
Lady boy. If I go to Thailand,
Yeah.
I should be cool.
I mean, it never says you can't have sex with a dude in the Bible, so.
Oh, no, never mind. It says man shall not lay with boy.
Well, the word says anal, like it's talking about booty sex. So
But this guy's reading the message.
I'm diving deep.
He's talking about food.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know if this is what you'll get into, but I was reading First Peter, chapter 3, talks about Jesus going and let me read it so I don't butcher it.
Oh, that was on the JNT version of the Bible.
He basically
What is it? First Peter what?
it's in chapter 3. It talks
I
about
already know what this guy's got to do.
Jesus
No Friday nothing.
what?
What were you in? What's the head caption? What verse?
Okay, verse 20.
Hold on. I got it.
To those who were
I got
disobedient long ago, when God waited
Them the
patiently.
spirit there and the people them will never follow God in a now attempt. When Noah did a big deal, big boat, God did a wet condemn people did out long. All right, I'm done.
Okay, so for those who don't understand his lingo, to those who were disobedient long ago, when God waited patiently in the days of Noah, while the ark was being built, and only a few people, 8 in all, were saved through water, and the water symbolizes baptism that now saves us. Okay,
read that again.
Well, I missed the part I was trying to read.
No, that's good for my answer. Read it again.
Well, no. Anyways, okay. I was looking for. There's a part in this chapter, that talks about Christ going and he was put in after being made. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Verse 19. So right before it, after being made alive, he went and made proclamation to the imprisoned spirits, and then it talks about the people who are imprisoned spirits that during the time of Noah. So these people what you were going after. At that time, there was obviously no Bible, no Torah, no law written down, but it talks about in Romans that he wrote the law on our hearts, on all of our hearts. So they were judged based off of the knowledge he had given them, not off of knowledge, off of if they said Jesus Christ Lord and Savior, because they didn't have that knowledge. So And then, like it says, he did it as a sense of cleansing, which when you're an atheist, you're like, well, that's messed up. There's kids. Oh, obviously babies. It was a Catholic water baptism. Just couldn't hold the breath long enough. I'm just kidding.
All right.
But the point is, at the end of the day, these people who did die, he is such a just God that he still made a way for them to accept Jesus Christ. He went and told them the message. These people who never got to experience Jesus, who were seen as irredeemable, and that's why they had to be cleansed. He still gave them another chance. So that's a W, God. W's in the chat. Okay, I guess I can listen. Did he give them another chance? Well, that's why I don't see a point of why Jesus would go and tell them after being made alive, or he went and made a proclamation. What do you like? That was the whole point. He went and told them, "Hey, I conquered sin and death." What would he tell them for if they were?
Oh, you're speaking about after the flood. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, depending on if you're not a Catholic. If you're a Catholic, well, then all those babies are cooked. But but if you love Jesus and Jesus alone, then those babies had not yet had the understanding of sin, and they were not guilty of death. So, but once again, if Catholicism's right, those babies are burning. But okay, so go ahead.
Okay. So this is the knowledge that I've gained over the last 2 days. But it's about before the flood and why actually God did cleanse people that lived on the earth before, and why Noah was just the one left before he did the flood. So it's I'm gonna read from 6 to 8, and then I'll tie everything back together. So when human beings began to increase in number on earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. And then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years." The Nephilim were on earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to daughters of humans and had children with them, they were the heroes of men of renown, or heroes of old, men of renown. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart were only evil at the time.
Yeah.
The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was
like
deeply
Genesis 6:6.
Lamented. You think why I started? You understand why I started reading this part? So the Lord said, "I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race that I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures moving along the ground, for I regret that I have made them." But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So some people get this construed by like, why did God kill a bunch of people, and why does God kill a bunch, like Old Testament God kill a bunch of people throughout Old Testament, but before Jesus came. So the whole point of what happened.
Jews, Hitler.
Yes. So
yeah, that's the same.
These sons of God in Genesis 2:2, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful. Mm-hmm. So the sons of God are not alluding to children from God. They are alluding to the fallen angels.
Yeah. I know that.
You know that?
I know that. I've been know that.
Because it says,
I'm about to make a name of myself.
But I make a name of myself. So the sons of God saw the daughters of humans, not the daughters of the sons of God.
Yeah.
So those were the fallen spirits that went with Satan when he took a third of the angels. So the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children with them. So the whole point of why God wiped all these people out from the face of the earth was because Satan and all these angels were having sex with all these women and all these animals and all these creatures and creating children that were not from God. So God did not want them to reign on the earth and then teach people and then have his children being taught by these false gods that have or false gods eventually, but then the people that have evil spirits residing in them.
Yeah.
So that's why
That's a bar.
he had the whole flood, and that's why he regretted the human race that he created, because it was taken by him from Satan, and then because it's always throughout the Old Testament, still throughout the New Testament, it's always a constant war between God and Satan, right? It's God made this, and Satan's trying to tear that down. And throughout the Old Testament, when the Israelites went and killed, where it says they went into like a certain tribe of Israel and had to kill the men, the women, and the children, and all the animals and flocks, because the devil did the exact same thing that he did before. The fallen angels would come in and have sex with all the other creatures and everything, and when that happened, God did not want them to live. So because they were from Satan, so he sent the Israelites that were of God to kill them all.
Solid.
And the thing about the false gods that we were talking about before, like Greek gods, Roman gods, Nordic gods, Hinduism, they're all from these fallen angels. It even says like they were the heroes of old, men of renown, because they were giants.
Yeah.
And they were just these monstrosities of human origin made from angels that were from the devil. So, and people look up to them because they were so great. Like, look at them; they're so big, they're so strong. Look, they're totally different from like a normal person.
Kind of like me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just different.
Yeah.
Not big or strong. Just different.
But that's where the Greek gods came from. That's where all these other false gods come from, is because people look up to these gods that are made from children of Satan. And then, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Like, even throughout this, there was still a person that was from upright and a child of God. And I don't know exactly if he was the last one, because that's the question that I had when the elder of the church was talking to me.
You didn't travel?
Mm-hmm.
We got elders?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys got elders?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Jim?
I talk about boy Jimmy Lee, and then there's a bunch of other ones.
I think
but Jimmy Lee's the boy. But the question I had was Noah the last person of godly origin, or was he just separate, just different from the rest of them?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a Jonah situation.
Yeah. So what he said, for the women at least, it was they were tainted by Satan too, because they had sex with these fallen angels. So the women were tainted, but I was still confused about the men, and he didn't have an answer for me.
Yeah.
That's why I was going to go ask my uncle, because he's read so many books on just Genesis 1 through 8. Oh my gosh, he answered me.
Oh, do we got info?
Hopefully. I'll read it. That is an excellent question. One that can be answered so easily, because there are multiple layers to that. It is far more complex than people realize, because most seminaries don't teach all the Jewish history that is associated with the subject. I would agree with him a little, but it was the fallen angels, aka sons of God, that collaborated with women and produced offspring called the giants. There was no mention of Satan actually doing this until you believe the theory that Satan had sex with Eve, whether that is the case. Well, what is the case or not is one's opinion. Well, he didn't answer my question exactly. He'll probably get into it later.
That makes sense, though. I do agree. I don't think Satan himself was.
First Peter said it. It said why Noah was separated from the other people. He was baptized by water, so he was clean in some way. That's why I said to read that again, because that answers some sort of my question why he was set apart. Because even if there was men and women on the earth, they were so focused on the gods that Satan bred into the world, that they weren't focusing on their God.
The true God. That's actually a valid, because Satan cannot create; he can only corrupt, steal, kill, and destroy. Yeah,
that's what Jimmy used. Kind of thing.
I don't know personally if it was So like another thing, like with Noah, I don't personally, we don't know, and I don't think it's all that important to go about our faith with God. If there was any other people on the world that were,
Oh, it's
um,
not at all important to the faith that we walk in today, but it's cool to learn
yeah, it is
about.
cool. No, no, no. I gotta just make sure I word that for the people. I personally don't think there were, because it straight up says, um, all of mankind was, what did it say exactly? Corrupt. Do you remember? Is that what it said? Roughly.
I think so.
Okay. Well, basically, we'll remember the whole Bible. Um, but so maybe he was the only faithful person. But the key thing is, sometimes there's people that like we see right after he's done, he ends up getting drunk, like blacked out drunk. I'm assuming. So he still sins. He's a person who sinned, but he had faith in God, and that's the difference. As someone like, not Jonah, Job, who he was called blameless in God's sight. Does that mean he didn't sin? No, because we see, and also Romans, that no, all have fallen short of the glory of God. So it was more so about his faith in God rather than his actions, like his
Yeah,
sin.
in the Job thing, it said through all this, Job did not sin. I'm
Mhm.
guessing it was sin alluding to cursing God and
Mhm.
getting rid of his faith,
Yeah.
because that's the unforgivable sin, by cursing God and saying that there is no God. Because in it's up to speculation if you can redeem from that if you start believing in him again, because I think that people do that a lot.
I don't know. I think maybe we talked about it, but there's a verse that's like, those who fall away, and come back are basically re-crucifying Christ.
But there's also the story of the prodigal son.
Yeah, so yeah, that's fair. I think the whole point of that is people who have fallen, like who don't know God, which is everyone who come to know Him, versus knowing Him, saying
Well, the
"screw you."
prodigal son, he was living in the house of his father, and then
Oh
he went
yeah.
out and did whatever, and then came back, and he was given a ring and a robe,
Hey,
and they
look up the
killed him.
verse. I can look up the verse. The Bible does not have Google search. Look it up. I think it's in the New Testament, but it talks
Yeah.
about basically if you fall away and come back, you're re-crucified. Because I don't know, the way they're wording that makes it plain, like seem like it's you can lose. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I mean, if someone you can take it as like a personal basis. I'm not going to say that I'm God in any way, shape, or form. But if
God
someone
broke me.
came really close to me and then they broke off from me for a season or whatever and then came back, I would be excited that they came back. I'd
Mhm.
also be upset that they left.
Mhm.
I'd be excited that they come back and be able to like break bread with them again. I don't know if that's how it's worded.
Yeah.
But, well,
Hi. Wait.
so what I found.
You get the mic this time. No. Hello, everybody. Stop. Stop.
So what I found was Hebrews 6 4 through 6 warns against falling away from the faith, and says that those who do cannot be brought back to repentance. The sin in view here is conscious, unrepentant denial of Christ.
Was that the straight up verse? What it said?
No idea.
Wait,
I think it's
what was
Hebrews 6 4 through 6.
I don't know where Hebrews is. It's somewhere.
It's where Hebrews is.
Oh.
I think it's before.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's before Matthew. Is it after?
No, it's before. I can't tell if you're being serious.
I genuinely have no idea.
You asked if it's before Matthew?
Yeah.
Matthew is the first book of the Bible in the New
That's
Testament.
Yeah, I know that. Is it
Hebrews is New Testament.
okay?
You silly belly. You said 4:6.
4 through 6.
But what chapter?
6.
Oh, okay, I knew that. I was just making it. It is impossible for those who have once been enlightened, who have tasted the heavenly gift, who have shared in the Holy Spirit, who have tasted the goodness of the Word of God and the powers of the coming age, and who have fallen away to be brought back to repentance. To their loss, they are crucifying the Son all over again and subjecting him to public disgrace. That's like, it's okay. So that's another thing where I've heard a lot of people who are on the conversation of can you lose your salvation? A lot of people fall into the category, and I don't know enough to give a full answer. So I'm more so like they are, where it's, I generally don't think someone who falls away from God truly experienced Him.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly experience the goodness of God,
why would you want to follow him?
Yeah, and it's hard because then the reason I don't take a stance is because it's like, well, I know the power of God, but if the enemy was constantly going after me to try to get me to pursue worldly knowledge that would try to get me to question God and then eventually lead away, because I know people have turned away, but I don't know where their heart was towards God. That's where I'm like, I'm not sure, because that very likely is possible where someone could get deceived so much that they turn away from God, based on the knowledge that they acquired, but then realize that's baloney and come back. So I don't know. I just was. How did we get into this topic? Fortnite.
Fortnite, yeah.
See, that's a great. I actually think that's a really great way to see it because, like you said, if you truly knew God, why would you follow him?
But it's weird. Have you seen people that were close to God and fall away?
Well, the reason I say
Raiden's one
yes,
of them.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like Raiden is someone who really is, but the thing is, I can't tell where his heart was. And that's why I don't have a way to take a stance on
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Like, if are they were they truly with God? Because you said something that really stuck out was like, were they truly experiencing God?
Yeah,
And
that's what's hard. 'Cause
it can
you
look like
can't.
it on the outside, but you
Yeah.
can't tell.
And so the way, and like I hold scripture to be the absolute truth. And
Yeah.
so if this is what exactly what that's meaning, then I would think the point of that is saying that they didn't fully understand and grasp and accept not only the goodness of him, the power, and recognize the power he held, and then welcoming in the Holy Spirit. And I don't think these, from what it sounds like, it doesn't sound like these people were born again. By the Holy Spirit. So I don't know. And it's hard because then it's like, well, at the end of the day, I guess it's nothing you should never worry about, because at the end of the day, we don't know people's hearts. Only God does.
Yeah.
And he knows what was going down. But I don't know.
Because again, this is not a topic that applies to our own faith absolutely
Yeah,
at all.
because
But it's
It's
just something.
it's
something we
cool.
can at least speculate.
Yeah.
Speculate.
And I mean, we can be able to have, since we're having these kind of conversations that are tougher, if someone were to bring it about who's either a curious newer Christian, someone who was agnostic, or an atheist who wanted to know an answer, I think the most important thing is doing studies to know the objective truth of what the Bible says rather than our own opinions. Because someone could be like, oh, well, you just say sorry. You could do whatever you want. You can come back.
Just say
I don't know.
sorry to God after spitting in his face a little bit.
And like, I think why, like when I was talking to Raiden, there's too many. The reason we have so many denominations is because so many people pick. Well, that sounds good. I'm gonna add that to it, but nah, I don't really care about that. That's not nuance, or that's too nuancy.
Yeah, it's in Matthew 5. If you pick one of least of these things and teach people in that way,
You're the
you'll be
least
the
in
least in
heaven.
heaven.
Yeah.
But if you pick all these things and teach people in the right way, you'll be called great in heaven.
And so I think knowing Scripture's truth and not your own feelings, and being able to tell others that, is really crucial. And I think it's crucial to your own faith, so that way you're not led astray to do that. Which is why I think it's really important not only to read your Bible, to know what it says. I want to be better at reading other translations so I can see a whole bunch of different ones and the original text. That'd be pretty cool. But
Yeah, you'd have to learn Hebrew,
and Greek, yeah.
Aramaic, and Greek.
Yeah. But if also getting other people's opinions and seeing if it's a consistent interpretation or if it's something where they're just putting their own opinions on the matter. Because when you're interpreting it based on your own subjective opinions, that gets to denominations and separation. And it's, you could be like, well, yeah, you can't lose your salvation, or let's do a different topic. You don't have to be born again to be saved. And then you're like, well, I think you have to be born, and I'm a non-believer.
Born again being what? Baptized or
just a born again Christian.
Oh, I think you have to be born again.
Yeah. And or yeah, like you're like, you have to be baptized to be saved, and then you're like, no, and you're using your opinions. Then if I was someone who was genuinely curious to see, I could just be turned away from it, because it's like, well, they don't even agree on what they're talking about, type of deal. So do we believe that you had to be baptized?
I don't know, what is it? I don't know.
Will's about to cook.
I don't know.
I can sense it.
Because
No, he's not. I take it back.
because baptism is an an outward expression of something that should happen internally.
Yeah. I think if you are alive, it's something that you're told to do. Like if you have the ability and you're already a believer, it's something you should do. Um, he tells us to get baptized and go and baptize people. So it's not something that's like, if you want to do it, you can. But at the end of the day, if any type of church,
Romans 4:10-11 says the righteousness is counted before baptism, not after.
yeah, because at the end of the day, if someone's theology on how you're saved does not fit into the description of the thief on the cross, then they are adding their own opinions to it.
Mhm.
Because if you're saying things and that dude doesn't get in, then it's not the correct way. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But just curious to hear what you guys
Yeah,
had to.
because Jesus literally said that, dude. Surely you'll be with me in my
paradise.
kingdom.
That's crazy. The angels are probably hype. It's like, who's gonna be the first in here? He's like, I don't even know the guy.
He got the most immaculate dab 976 times.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, that's a game winner. That's a buzzer beater.
Yeah, that's a buzzer beater shot. Yeah,
That's crazy.
you took that one from the
W mans.
Save me,
Please.
please.
And then dies. That is cool. Is there any questions you guys have? Like any cool things you're trying to learn or don't understand in scripture that I or one of you two might be able to answer?
How did they get into heaven before Jesus?
Through faith.
Okay.
And then because God, Jesus is eternal. He's always has been, always will be. His sacrifice was for those people as well. Just like his sacrifice was for people to come, or for us because we weren't alive when he did the sacrifice.
Mhm.
It covers all of sin, but their faith in God in general is what got them to be believers, quote unquote. And so if you were worshiping other idols, then no go. But
There was a clip from I think it was George Janko's podcast where Bobby Lee was like, "Yeah, I don't believe that Jesus is my Lord and Savior." And it's like, I think I'm not going to heaven because of that. And George is like, "Yeah,
you're going to hell. You're going to hell." I think that's the hard part. Nuanced Christianity churches are really scared to give truth, and there's so much. Oh, Jesus is super love. He loves you all. That's all.
Believing in Jesus is like the hardest thing you could possibly do, but he gives you the grace to get through it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck with like a ribbon on it.
Yeah.
I think just the believing in it, like truly believing in it, is what's so hard. Like just in general, not just Jesus, like God and like the actual religion itself. Because it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, it sounds good in my head, but
really stepping in,
really stepping in and actually believing it. Because it's one of the things where it's like technicality. There is no. We don't see it.
Yeah, there's no way
see
to
God.
prove.
There's no way for us to prove it other than just you have to like truly feel it. It's one of those things where it's like you can't show other people your feelings.
Yeah,
like you can say like I feel God's presence, but it's one of those things where it's like,
prove it.
I can't show that to somebody.
I know it's in Romans.
Romans is fire.
Hebrews is
fire too. Hebrews 11.
It talks about. I don't know why I know what it talks about, but I'm trying to figure out why I was going to mention this. It might have been what you were saying. There's no way to prove it. That God exists. I agree to the sense that there's no way to prove, like in a test lab, that God exists.
Yeah, that's what everybody's infatuated right now.
In like instances of your life, very able to prove in that part.
But it talks about it in Romans where it's basically, this is how a lot of people tend to answer if like people are in a remote island and never hear about Jesus Christ or God. Now are they going to heaven or hell? And it talks about somewhere in here. I don't know where. One of you could find it if you'd like to, but so you know I'm not lying. It basically, I don't know where it's at in Romans, but it just talks about he everyone has the opportunity. He gives everyone a fair opportunity to be able to look at what they're given and recognize that this isn't a coincidence type of a deal. Look at the stars and realize there's got to be something more than just death, and that this was just an accident that we're here. Um, and just like what he's gonna do, like what he did when he judged the people of Noah's day, he's gonna judge these people who never hear about Jesus based on the the knowledge they do have and how they handle said knowledge. So,
Romans 1:20.
oh snap, I was way off. But yeah,
That's why I don't understand like atheists that just don't like that you don't believe in God because they don't care. It's like what do you mean? Is the end of your life not going to be the scariest part? Is every day not going to be scary?
Yeah, I personally think it takes more faith to be an atheist than a
because you have faith in nothing.
Yeah. You have faith that you're gonna die.
You have faith that you're gonna die at some point.
The idea of just being like, yeah, there's nothing, is terrifying to me. It's scary because, like, dude.
And then how do you explain like creation as an atheist?
It was a coincidence. It's a coincidence.
We were dust, and then we got really hard.
Well, actually, nothing came from nothing, and the molecule soup came to be, and now you're here. It's easy.
Like if it came from nothing, like
smell.
nothing is literally the absence of something.
Yeah.
So how can something come from nothing when nothing is nothing?
Why is anything here?
Yeah. Oh, well, obviously, because the Big Bang made baked beans and it made you. Simple.
Dude, the Big Bang made Bush's baked beans.
Yes, they did. Technically, evolution. It went from.
We started at dust, then we became living dust. Then we became fish.
I love
Then we became fish with legs.
The videos. It's just like some fish and goes like, "Go, Grandpa, go!"
Just like, or it's one of those things that evolution grows legs.
Yeah,
I think I'd like these now. I don't have any questions for you guys. You guys have any questions?
What? Your money.
Yes. Wait a minute. Shouldn't be opposite.
I got a question.
Wow.
How do I get to the third hip?
You best get a lot of women to be your wife.
Oh yeah, I forgot that religion has a lot of women.
A
lot of glasses of milk.
A lot of glasses of milk, yeah.
If you don't have 35,000 different wives, like Solomon.
35,000 wives is like 70 glasses of milk. Yeah.
Oh, my jaw popped right when I went to do that.
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. You're finna go to the first hell.
The first hell? Is there multiple stages to hell?
Yes. You're not gonna be able to be your own god of a planet, buddy.
So does it depict? So you mean the more glasses of milk I have, the more chance I have getting to the third heaven?
Yes. The more chance.
Probably
the more planets you can be a god of.
I totally forgot about that part. You're a god over your own planet.
Yeah.
Totally forgot.
You're gonna be like God. You're gonna be God.
You're gonna be God.
You're gonna be God of your own people.
Yeah.
Because the Father was a human and he had a God.
That is so.
And he was good enough to become a God. And now he's the God of us.
He's the God.
No. Nice. So now basically he had procreated with spirits to create Jesus, who is also Lucifer's brother. Did you know that?
I think Lucifer is like a real name. It's like Samael.
Well, there's some people who think that Lucifer is not Satan's name, because the context when they're reading it.
On Google all the time it just says.
Well, even Satanists think his name is Lucifer.
But the Satanists are just little goofy, interesting people.
They're beautiful humans
that
are going to hell.
That don't
believe that are something strange.
That are all going to hell unless they change their ways.
Yeah.
They worship the wrong thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they'd rather do that than go to third heaven.
Yeah.
Maybe third heaven isn't as good as it seems.
I'd rather believe in fire and death than greatness.
Well, no, it's not going to be fire and death. It's just going to be like a corner, chasm that you're gonna have to stand in for eternity.
You're in a timeout.
Stand in this dark corner until you learn
Yeah,
your
'cause
lesson.
it's separation from God, and they say weeping and gnashing of teeth. They don't say you're going to be set on fire. I mean, they do say fire and brimstone, but that's Satan's thing. Satan gets to do that.
You're lucky.
No, Satan gets to be in the fire and brimstone. You're just going to be in a dark corner where you're weeping like
By yourself. Because you're like in anguish and you're in regret. You're anxious. I should have freaking knew it. Freaking
Yeah,
not.
I never want to experience hell ever.
What? No way. It's gonna be litty. All the cool people are gonna be down there.
I want my C3 Corvette in heaven.
Yeah.
Flipping it around. My big
That
angel.
Lil
flying
Uzi
my
Vert
my
gonna be
big
in there
eye
giving
and a
us
bunch of-
performance. I'm gonna be partying with Hitler.
Wait, is the Archangel, is it like an actual dude, or is it just like another big old eyeball thing?
That's a title. Archangel.
So it's a big old eyeball thing?
No, Archangel's just a title.
Yeah, but there's still big old eyeball things.
Michael is described as like humanistic.
So he's still a big old eyeball thing.
He has like
So you answered my question. Yes.
well, because you were asking if archangels are big ol' eyeball, or if archangel. It made it seem like
I know the title.
Oh, hey, it's a
They
title.
are
by the way.
different from like
Yeah, there's like cherubim, and there's
cherubim,
like
seraphim.
there's like baby angels.
There's Cupid. And
There's
he shoots
Cupid.
people with arrows and stuff.
Yeah, my guardian angel is a tall white woman.
Yeah, in heaven there's like a little baby with a nice like leaf over his trash, and he just sits around there and plucks arrows in the back of your head.
You guys must have got shot by that guy. All right. My joke didn't land, so I'm gonna end it off on there. Thank you guys very much. We're about to get locked into this building. I just realized that.
Why?
Because it closes at 6.
For the viewers here.
It is 6 o'clock. You
I'm
could have
not-
just said it's 6 o'clock. Let
Yeah.
me show you these guys.
I'm gonna bring them into it.
Yes, they're a part of this. They're a family.
I don't see them here.
They didn't make
I love
that
you
up.
guys. Don't worry.
Okay, so thank you guys very much for sticking to the end. If you did, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to even have the title and main title of this be, besides rambling about the unspeakable faith,
Speaking with great value,
Bazinga.
Jesus.
The unspeakable faith.
the third heaven. Speaking on third heaven.
Speaking about the third heaven.
But yeah, thank you guys. If you stuck around for 1 second or the whole time, thank you. You can leave a like if you liked it. You can leave a dislike if you think Will is
Great value, Jesus.
I
stupid.
got rid of the dislike bar. It doesn't matter.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got rid of the dislike bar so long ago.
That's stupid. You know, I'm gonna go leave a dislike on YouTube. I'm gonna rate it 1 star.
I'm just gonna leave a poopy comment.
Nice
You
feller.
stink.
Wow, you took
Nice feller. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Mormon.
No,
That
the unspeakable.
the unspeakable.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We
We
can't.
can't.
All right. Thank you guys for making time to do this. About time.
I don't know. Okay.
Well, you've already been on here.
Okay.
It was
The last time we tried to do it, you went, "Oh, I changed my mind."
I'm joking.
I'm cool. I'm gonna do my own thing.
I'm joking.
Well, it's been like 2 weeks, or maybe 3 since I posted, so I had to do something.
Uh-huh.
I know. It's hard being the coolest man in the world.
Do rag.
Just,
What do you mean?
You got a do rag. I'm
Yeah.
stating a fact.
What does this do-rag make you feel? Does it make you feel safe or unsafe?
Did
Does
you
the
make-
whole package make you feel safe or unsafe on camera?
the whole pack.
No.
The whole pack.
Okay.
I refuse.
My
I
plead the
rebuke
fifth.
thee. I rebuke
Okay.
thee.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, we'll see you next time. Listen.
Guys, thanks so much for watching.
Hey,
Trey's a
If I
great
didn't
host.
mention, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank
you so much.
I realized we didn't even pray.
so much.
So you guys are
We're
not going to
just-
third heaven.
I'm not going to be the god of my own planet.
No.
And I can't say anything about the unspeakable legends.